The screen fades in with the sound of camera shutters firing like machine gun blasts. Paparazzi are screaming, "Tiny! Over here! Is it true?" The frame snaps into focus, revealing a storm of flashing lights, frantic reporters, and a black SUV door slamming shut. A voiceover cuts through the chaos. No one, and I mean no one, saw this coming. Word spreads across social media like wildfire. Tiny has allegedly served T.I. with divorce papers, and fans are losing their minds. The world is still reeling from the chaos surrounding their son King Harris, whose recent scandal lit up the internet like a ticking time bomb. But now, a new twist has slapped the entire Harris family in the face. Inside sources claim that Tiny reached her breaking point after a private family confrontation turned nuclear. Voices echoed through the mansion. A glass shattered. Someone yelled, "I can't do this anymore." Cameras weren't rolling, but that didn't stop the drama from leaking. Fans are shocked, the family is divided, and T.I., usually the one in control, looks completely blindsided. Was this planned? Was this revenge? Or is this just the beginning of a meltdown that could destroy the Harris dynasty from the inside? Stay right there, because what happens next will have you questioning everything. The night the chaos began, the house felt like it was suffocating under invisible tension. The echo of heavy footsteps on the marble floor filled the hallway, and Tiny could feel her heartbeat in her throat. She stood by the kitchen counter, gripping her phone so tightly it seemed like it could crack in her hand. No cameras, no producers, no glam team. Just silence, and the storm that was about to erupt from within her. Earlier that day, Tiny had received a message from a close friend. Someone she trusted. Someone who would never exaggerate something this serious. The message said, "Girl, I don't know how to tell you this, but King is out here again. It's bad. Real bad. People recording him and everything." And T.I., instead of confronting the situation, is blaming everybody else. Tiny stared at the text for a long moment, her breath caught somewhere between disbelief and exhaustion. She whispered to herself, "Again, why does it always come back to me cleaning up the mess?" Just then, the front door slammed. Loud. Aggressive. Unmistakably T.I. Tiny didn't move. She didn't even blink. She had rehearsed this confrontation in her mind 20 times, maybe 50. All the years of pressure, of pretending things were fine, of defending the family's image publicly while the private walls were crumbling, it had all led to this. T.I. walked into the kitchen, his expression a mix of frustration and denial, like he was already prepared for a fight. "You saw the videos," he said flatly. Not a question. A statement. Tiny put her phone down and finally looked up at him. "I didn't just see the videos, Tip. I saw what those videos mean." He scoffed, turning away, opening the fridge as if looking for a bottle of water would somehow avoid the conversation. People always film. Always lying. They ain't got nothing better to do. Tiny pressed her hands to the counter. "You really think this is about the cameras? About the fans? Tip, it's our family. It's our son. He's acting out because he's desperate for something we're not giving him." T.I. slammed the fridge shut. "And what exactly am I not giving him?" She took a deep breath, steadying herself. She refused to scream. "Not this time. Your time. Your presence. Your honesty." His whole life, King has been trying to figure out where he fits. You give him discipline, but not connection. You give him rules, but not understanding. T.I.'s jaw tightened. "So now this is my fault?" Tiny paused, her voice trembling. "It's not about blame. It's about responsibility." There was a long silence. T.I. paced around the kitchen like a lion trapped in a cage. The longer the silence lingered, the more Tiny could feel her patience unraveling. This wasn't just about King anymore. It was about years of swallowing hurt, of biting her tongue, of choosing peace while her heart cracked. Finally, Tiny said softly, "I can't do this anymore." T.I. stopped pacing. He turned slowly, shock flickering across his face. "What do you mean?" She swallowed hard. "I mean, I'm tired of hurting." He stepped closer, his voice suddenly calmer, but not warm, just controlled. "Tiny, you're being emotional. We don't make life decisions when things are messy." Her eyes met his, and for the first time in a long time, she didn't look away. "You think I just decided this today? I've been making this decision for years." T.I. opened his mouth to speak, but she cut him off with a whisper that hit like thunder. "I filed the papers." T.I. froze. For a moment, the world felt like it stopped spinning. Even the air seemed to be waiting for his reaction. His voice came out low, almost a growl. "You did what?" Tiny's throat burned. "I filed for divorce." He took a step back as if her words had physically pushed him. "Nah. No, you're angry. You're overwhelmed." "I'm done," Tiny said, her voice steady now. "I'm done pretending we're okay." T.I. looked away, staring at the wall, breathing slowly like he was trying not to break something. "After everything we've built, after everything we survived, from the scandals, to the rumors, to the media tearing us apart, you're really gonna let this ruin us?" "No," Tiny whispered. "Our marriage was already ruined. This just exposed it." The weight of her words sat in the room like smoke. Thick. Choking. Inescapable. She continued. "I've spent so many years defending you. Defending our family. Defending choices that I didn't even agree with. I put myself last every time because I believed in us. But today, something clicked. I realized, I don't recognize myself anymore." T.I. looked at her, finally really looking. Not at the wife who stood by him through every headline. Not at the partner who patched things up behind the scenes. But at the woman who was tired of carrying the world on her shoulders. "Tiny," his voice cracked for the first time. "Don't," she whispered. "If you wanted to fight for this marriage, you would have done it before I reached this point." He rubbed the back of his neck, pacing again. "We can fix this. I'll talk to King. I'll handle the situation. I'll make some changes." Tiny shook her head. "You always promise changes when things blow up. But after the dust settles, we go right back to the same cycle." T.I. slammed his hand on the counter. "So that's it? You're walking away?" "No," she said. "I walked away a long time ago. I just finally stopped pretending I didn't." Outside, a car drove past, headlights streaking through the window. The silence inside the kitchen felt so loud that it hurt. T.I. exhaled sharply. "What about the family? What about the empire we built? You gonna throw all that away because of a rough patch?" Tiny blinked slowly, tired tears filling her eyes. "This isn't a rough patch. This is a pattern. And I'm choosing peace over pretending." She reached for the envelope on the table. The one she'd been keeping hidden for days. She slid it toward him. "These are the served documents." He stared at the envelope like it was something toxic, something that could burn him if he touched it. His voice dropped to almost nothing. "You already served me?" She nodded. "Earlier today." T.I. stepped back again, as though reality had finally hit him in the chest. "You really blindsided me like that?" Tiny whispered, "This time, I chose myself." And at that exact moment, as if on cue, King stormed into the kitchen, wide-eyed and out of breath. Clearly, he had overheard enough to know exactly what was happening. "Wait, Mom, you're divorcing Dad?" Tiny spun around slowly. "King." King looked between his parents, confusion and guilt mixing on his face. "Is this because of me? Because of the videos? Because of what I did?" Before Tiny could answer, T.I. spoke sharply. "King, go to your room. This ain't the time." King shook his head. No, I wanna know. If y'all are splitting up because of me, I need to know. King stood frozen in the doorway, chest rising and falling as if he had sprinted from the other side of the house. His eyes flickered between his parents, already glossy with emotion. Tiny stepped toward him slowly, but T.I.'s voice cut through the moment, sharp and defensive. I said go to your room. King didn't budge. Nah, I'm staying. This is my family too. Tiny put a hand on her forehead, exhaustion crashing into her like a wave. She whispered, King, this isn't because of you. It's so much bigger than that. But King shook his head, his voice cracking. I'm always the reason something blows up. Every fight, every interview, every time y'all get dragged online, it's always King this, King that. Now I'm the reason the family breaks apart? T.I. snapped, you brought chaos into this house. Tiny cut him off, her patience snapping. Tip, stop blaming him. This divorce isn't about King. It's about us. About everything we ignored for years. King looked at T.I. with a flash of anger. So all the times you yelled at me for not listening? For messing up? For acting out? Maybe you should have listened for once. The room felt like it might explode. Tiny reached out to touch King's arm, but he stepped back, pacing, running his hand through his hair. You two never talk. You just pretend. Y'all been acting like everything's perfect for the cameras, but behind the scenes it's always tension, always secrets. T.I. glared. You don't know what you're talking about. Yes I do, King fired back. I grew up here. I heard every fight through the walls. I saw Mom crying at the kitchen table when she thought everybody was asleep. I saw you walk out night after night. Tiny's eyes filled with tears. King. King looked at her, pain etched on his face. Mom, why didn't you just leave then? Why now? Tiny stepped closer. Because I kept hoping we would get better. I kept hoping he would choose us, choose this marriage, choose me. But I finally realized I was holding on to a version of us that no longer exists. T.I. clenched his jaw. That's not fair. Tiny turned to him, voice soft but unwavering. What's not fair is expecting me to carry the entire marriage while you focused on everything else. The silence that followed was suffocating. T.I. sat down at the table, elbows on his knees, hands pressed to his face. For the first time, he looked lost. So what, Tiny? You just gonna give up? Throw away the family? Throw away the memories? The music? The blood, the sweat, the tears? Tiny exhaled. I'm not giving up. I'm letting go. King ran a hand down his face, suddenly quieter. So, what happens now? Tiny opened her mouth, but before she could answer, T.I. stood up abruptly. I need some air. He walked toward the patio door, snatching his jacket off a chair. Tiny called out gently but firmly. Tip. He stopped with his hand on the doorknob. Don't run away from this conversation. Not again. T.I. didn't turn around, but the tension in his shoulders was palpable. I ain't running. I'm thinking. King muttered under his breath, thinking is what people say when they mean avoiding. The comment cut deeper than expected. T.I. walked out, slamming the door behind him. Tiny and King stood there in the silence that followed, broken in different ways. Tiny wrapped her arms around herself as though trying to keep her pieces from falling apart. King spoke first. Mom, I didn't mean for it to go this far. Tiny turned toward him slowly. King, what happened with you isn't your fault. You're finding yourself. You're trying to figure out who you are outside of being a Harris. He frowned. But everyone else keeps acting like I'm a disappointment. Tiny touched his cheek gently. You're not a disappointment. You're struggling. And unfortunately, our family deals with struggles in silence instead of support. King swallowed hard. Is Dad mad at me? Tiny sighed. Your father is mad at everything he can't control. King sat down at the counter stool, elbows propped up, FACE buried in his hands. I thought fame was supposed to make life easier. Instead, it feels like every mistake I make becomes a movie. Tiny sat next to him. We raised you in the spotlight. We thought we were giving you opportunities. Instead, we gave you expectations. King tilted his head up. So now what? I'm not a kid anymore. I want to figure out my life, not be the headline that ruins yours. Tiny stared at him, realizing how deeply the situation had carved itself into his heart. You didn't ruin anything. The marriage was struggling long before any of this happened. King, what you're going through simply exposed the cracks that were already there. King let out a humorless laugh. Exposed the cracks. Sounds like something out of a reality show. Tiny shrugged. Maybe our life has become one. Suddenly, raised voices echoed from outside. Tiny and King exchanged confused glances and rushed toward the patio door. Through the glass, they could see T.I. pacing aggressively while talking to someone on the phone. King opened the sliding door just enough to listen. T.I.'s voice was filled with fury. How the hell did this leak? Who knew? Somebody had to tell them. Tiny's stomach dropped. Leak, she whispered. T.I. continued, shouting into the phone. I want names. I want to know who sold that footage to the blogs. And I swear to you, if anyone else in this family spoke to the press, I'm done protecting everybody. Tiny and King looked at each other in shock. Tiny stepped out onto the patio. Tip, what footage? T.I. turned, startled that they were there. The argument. Somebody recorded it. Tiny felt her blood run cold. What argument? T.I. hesitated, then slid his phone across the patio table. On the screen was a blurry video clip, recorded through a crack in the kitchen door earlier. Her voice could be heard faintly saying the words, I filed for divorce. Tiny's breath caught. How did this get out? T.I. said, the blogs are posting it. They're saying exclusive leak, Tiny F. Files for divorce following King's scandal. King's face turned pale. So everybody knows? T.I. nodded grimly. The whole internet. Tiny felt sick. Who would do that? King looked suddenly guilty, eyes darting away. Tiny noticed. King, what is it? King hesitated. Mom, Dad, earlier, when y'all were fighting, I sent a voice message to my friend. I didn't mean for anything to get out, but maybe he. T.I. exploded. You exposed us? You sent our business to someone else? King backed up, shaking his head. I didn't think he would send it to anybody else. I was just venting. I didn't know he was recording. T.I. got in King's face, heat radiating off him. You don't get to not know. You're grown enough to run around online acting reckless, but not grown enough to protect this family? Tiny pushed between them. Tip, back up. Don't talk to him like that. T.I.'s voice broke. He just ruined us. King shouted back, why is everything always my fault? Tiny held her hands up. Stop. Both of you. This is not helping. T.I. stared at them both with a mix of betrayal and exhaustion. You know what? I can't do this right now. He stormed inside, leaving Tiny and King standing alone under the patio lights. Tiny wrapped her arms around King. This family is falling apart, and we're all hurting. King whispered against her shoulder, I didn't mean to destroy us. Tiny closed her eyes, tears falling silently. You didn't destroy us. The truth just finally came out. Little did they know, the leak had already gone viral. Fans online were reacting. People were choosing sides. Hashtags were forming. The Harris family was officially a public spectacle. And the damage was just beginning. Everything changed overnight. Tiny woke up to her phone vibrating non-stop. Messages, missed calls, notifications, alerts. Her screen looked like it was exploding. She rubbed her eyes, still exhausted from the argument the night before, and clicked the first notification. Tiny filed for divorce after King scandal, fans react. Another one. Exclusive, T.I. blindsided with divorce papers. Then. Sources say Tiny is fed up with carrying the family image. Tiny sucked in a shaky breath. Within hours, the entire world knew. She scrolled through comments under a blog post and saw strangers dissecting her life like they were discussing the plot of a TV show. Tiny should have left years ago. T.I. is toxic. This family is a mess. King ruined everything. She clenched the phone tighter, heart aching for King. She didn't want him to carry that weight. Tiny stood up and walked down the hallway toward King's room, but when she pushed the door open, he wasn't there. Instead, she found his window slightly cracked open, curtains swaying in the breeze. Her stomach dropped. King? No response. She walked quickly down the hallway toward the stairs, her voice louder. King. Still nothing. The front door was unlocked. Outside, she spotted King sitting at the edge of the driveway, hoodie up, headphones in. She exhaled with relief and walked over to him. Hey, she said gently. He pulled out one headphone, eyes red and tired. I didn't run away, he muttered. I just needed air. Tiny sat down beside him on the cold concrete. I know. I'm not here to lecture you. King looked at her for a moment before looking away again. Mom, everywhere I look online, people are saying this divorce is my fault. Tiny shook her head. Don't you dare carry that. Don't you let strangers convince you that you're the cause of something you didn't create. King let out a bitter laugh. But I literally leaked it. Tiny took his hand. You didn't leak the problem. The problem existed way before that. He stared down at the ground, kicking a pebble. Dad hates me. She turned his face toward her. Your father is angry. Hurt. Confused. But he doesn't hate you. He just doesn't know how to handle things that he can't control. King sniffed, wiping his face with his sleeve. He loved being in control. Tiny smiled sadly. Sometimes control is just fear in disguise. King stared at her, letting her words sink in. Meanwhile, inside the house, T.I. stood in the living room, pacing aggressively with his phone to his ear. His voice was intense, strained, laced with desperation. We need to put out a statement. Something strong. Something that says we're still a united family. The person on the phone, his manager or public relations rep, responded in a calm tone that only seemed to make T.I. more irritated. T.I., the best thing you can do right now is lay low. Responding quickly will only add fuel. T.I. snapped, lay low? That video is everywhere. People think I drove my wife away. People think I'm a bad father. You want me to sit still? The rep sighed. Sometimes silence speaks louder than defense. T.I. hung up without saying goodbye. He walked over to the bar cart, pouring himself a drink even though it was barely 9 a.m. He stared at the glass before setting it down untouched. Drinking wouldn't fix this. Nothing felt like it could fix this. The front door opened and closed. Tiny and King walked inside. T.I. turned to face them. Tiny braced herself. King shoved his hands in his pockets. Dad, can we talk? T.I. didn't answer. He just stared at his son, expression unreadable. Tiny took a small step back, giving them space. King swallowed hard. I messed up. I shouldn't have sent that voice message. I didn't think it would get out. I wasn't trying to expose anybody. T.I.'s voice was low. That's the thing, King. You don't think. You don't slow down long enough to understand consequences. King clenched his jaw. I'm trying. But you act like I'm the only reason this family is falling apart. Ti shot back, you sure not helping. Tiny interjected softly, tip. Ti ignored her. His eyes stayed locked on King. Do you have any idea what you just cost us? Brand deals. Opportunities. Public trust. King scoffed. You think I care about brand deals right now? This family is falling apart and you're worried about your image? Ti stepped closer, anger rising. Everything I built was to protect you. To give you a life where you don't gotta make mistakes like this. King snapped, maybe if you were around instead of always managing the brand, I wouldn't be making these mistakes. Ti froze. Tiny watched, heart pounding, knowing this was a truth Ti needed to hear. King continued, voice shaking. You're so obsessed with being Ti. The boss. The legend. The man everybody fears and respects. But at home, you disappear. Tiny held her breath. Ti tried to fire back, but his voice cracked. I did what I thought was best. King shook his head. You did what was best for your image. There it was. Raw. Unfiltered. Brutally honest. Ti's eyes blinked rapidly, and for a moment, it looked like he might cry. Instead, he turned his pain into defensiveness. I sacrificed everything for this family. Tiny whispered, you sacrificed being present. Ti turned toward her, hurt etched across his face. So that's how you see me? Tiny nodded slowly. I see you trying to fix everything except what matters. Ti swallowed hard, chest rising and falling. And the divorce is the answer? Tiny exhaled shakily. The divorce is the result. King stayed quiet, watching both of them crumble. Ti walked to the window, staring out at the street lined with parked cars and lurking paparazzi, waiting like vultures. The house didn't feel like a home anymore. It felt like a cage. After a moment, Ti spoke without turning around. If you go through with this divorce, the family breaks forever. Tiny shook her head. The family is broken now because we keep pretending everything is fine. King whispered, what if we showed people the truth? What if, instead of hiding everything, we just talked? Like actually talked. Together. Ti turned around. And let the world judge us? Tiny shrugged. They're already judging us. King took a step forward, voice calm and surprisingly mature. Maybe it's time we stop caring what everyone else thinks and focus on what we need. Ti looked between Tiny and King. For the first time, neither of them were yelling. Nobody was storming out. Nobody was blaming. Just honesty. Ti walked toward Tiny, slowly, cautiously, as if approaching a fragile glass sculpture. His voice was barely more than a whisper. Do you still love me? Tiny's breath hitched, her eyes flickering with memories, good and bad. Love was never the issue, she whispered. Respect, effort, partnership, those were the issues. Ti took another step closer. Can we try again? Tiny shook her head painfully. Trying again means repeating the cycle. I need something different. King watched his mother set boundaries in real time. It was the first time he saw her choose herself. Behind them, Tiny's phone buzzed again. Her screen lit up with a new message. Tiny, we need a statement. Press is demanding comment. She stared at the screen, then shook her head slowly. I have nothing to say. Ti inhaled deeply. I do. Tiny and King both looked at him. Ti walked toward the stairs. I'm going to talk to the press. Tiny's eyes widened. Tip, don't. Ti stopped and looked back over his shoulder. If the world is going to talk about my family, they're gonna hear it from me. He walked upstairs, leaving Tiny and King standing in the silence of the living room. Tiny whispered, voice trembling, "This is going to get messy." King replied softly, "It's already messy." Tiny stood frozen for a moment, staring up the staircase where T.I. had disappeared. She felt like the floor beneath her was shifting, like everything familiar was crumbling. King walked toward the couch and collapsed onto it, burying his head in his hands. Tiny sat next to him. "I don't want this to get uglier," she whispered. King looked up. "It's already ugly." He's about to go talk to the media like it's some PR stunt. Tiny shook her head. He's not doing it for PR, he's doing it because he can't stand losing control. King let out a slow exhale. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe nobody in this family has ever been allowed to be messy without someone trying to control the narrative. Tiny looked at him, eyes filled with sadness but also pride. "You're growing up faster than I expected." Meanwhile, upstairs, T.I. stood in front of the bathroom mirror, gripping the sink. He looked at himself like he didn't recognize the man staring back. His voice was barely a whisper. "How did we get here?" He splashed water on his face, trying to steady his breathing. The mirror fogged around the edges, and for the first time, he didn't attempt to wipe it clear. Instead, he let his reflection blur, like he didn't want to face himself. His phone buzzed again. The same message from his team, interviews lined up. "Just say the word." T.I. grabbed a towel, wiped his face, and walked out. Downstairs, Tiny and King were sitting quietly when footsteps echoed from the staircase. T.I. appeared, holding his phone, wearing a jacket like he was ready to leave. Tiny stood immediately. "Tip, wait." He stopped halfway down the stairs. "Don't talk to the media," Tiny said. "Not like this. Not while we're all hurting." T.I. clenched the railing. "I can't sit back and let everybody paint me like some monster who destroyed his family." Tiny stepped closer. "Defending yourself publicly will destroy us more." T.I.'s voice dropped. "They're already destroying me." King stood up slowly. "Dad, the more you fight the internet, the more it fights back." T.I. turned his eyes to his son. King had never looked so serious. "What do you expect me to do? Be quiet?" King shrugged. "Maybe for once, don't try to control the story. Maybe just face it." T.I. stared at him like he was speaking a foreign language. "Face what?" King gestured toward Tiny. "Face the fact that Mom is hurting. Face the fact that I'm struggling. Face the fact that this family isn't perfect and doesn't need to be." T.I. stepped down the last stair and walked over to the living room. He sat in the armchair across from them. The exhaustion in his face made him look older, worn. T.I. rubbed his forehead. "I don't know how to do that. All my life, I fought to prove people wrong. When the world doubted me, I doubled down. Every success I got came from refusing to accept failure." Tiny sat across from him. "Our marriage isn't a business deal. Winning or losing doesn't apply here." T.I. looked at Tiny, his voice softer. "I didn't want to lose you." Tiny swallowed hard. Tears pooled in her eyes. "You lost me when I realized I was constantly competing with your ego." The words hit him like a punch. King stood quietly in the corner of the room, watching two people he loved try to navigate the collapse of something that once felt invincible. T.I. leaned back, letting his head rest against the chair. "So that's it. I'm just the villain." Tiny shook her head. "No, you're a man who lost his way." King walked over and sat beside his father. The gesture was unexpected, soft, almost vulnerable. "Dad," King said quietly, "you don't have to fight right now. You just need to listen." T.I.'s eyes glistened. "I don't know how." Tiny stood, pacing slowly. "Then learn. Learn to be still. Learn to be present. Learn to stop performing and just be human." The room fell into a rare silence. No yelling. No accusations. Just reality. T.I. finally asked, barely above a whisper, is the divorce final? Tiny hesitated. Not yet. The papers are filed, but I haven't submitted the final signatures to make it official. T.I. leaned forward, elbows on his knees. So, there's still a chance. Tiny closed her eyes. A chance for healing. Not for pretending. T.I. stared at the floor. What do I need to do? She turned to him, voice steady. Therapy. Communication. Real responsibility. Not just fixing the image. Fixing the behavior. And not because you want to save the marriage, but because you want to be better for yourself. King nodded. And for me. T.I. looked between them, the fight draining from his shoulders. I'll try, he said. I don't know how good I'll be at it, but I'll try. Tiny stepped closer, voice soft but firm. Trying means change. Not promises. The doorbell suddenly rang, loud and intrusive. King jumped slightly. Tiny peeked through the blinds. Paparazzi. At least 20 of them gathered outside, cameras pointed at the door, flashing non-stop. Someone shouted, Tiny, are you leaving him? Is the divorce real? Another yelled, King, did you cause the split? T.I.'s expression shifted from vulnerable to protective. Without hesitation, he grabbed his phone and dialed security. Get these cameras off my property. Now. King stood frozen, watching the chaos outside. Tiny placed a hand on his shoulder. Don't look. You don't owe them anything. But the noise grew louder. Reporters craned their necks, microphones extended. The family was on display again. T.I. hung up. Security's on their way. Tiny glanced at him. This is what happens when we feed the narrative. He nodded slowly. You're right. King turned away from the window, his voice small. I hate this. T.I. walked over to him and placed a hand on his back. I'm sorry. I should have protected you better. King didn't look at him, but his breathing steadied. Tiny watched them, something in her chest shifting. Not forgiveness. Not a solution. Just a crack in the wall that had been between them. After a moment, T.I. took a deep breath and faced Tiny. I won't talk to the press. Not today. Not until we talk. The three of us. Tiny nodded, relief washing over her. Thank you. King exhaled. Can we just be a family for a minute? No yelling. No blaming. Tiny sat back down on the couch. Yes. We can. T.I. sat beside her, and King sat on the other side. A fragile, unfamiliar quiet settled over them. For the first time in a long time, they weren't a headline. They weren't a spectacle. They were just three people sitting on a couch, trying to pick up the pieces of something that meant everything. Outside, paparazzi continued their relentless shouting. Flashes lit up the windows like lightning. But inside the house, something was changing. Maybe not reconciliation, but recognition. T.I. looked over at Tiny, voice low. If signing those papers gives you peace, I won't stop you. But I wish I had realized sooner what I was losing. Tiny held his gaze. I didn't want you to lose me. I wanted you to choose me. King leaned back, closing his eyes. Maybe this is what choosing each other looks like. Not for the cameras, but for real. The noise outside slowly faded into the background as the family sat in the quiet living room, breathing the same heavy air. Uncertain of the future. But finally telling the truth. And just like that, the entire story reaches the edge of a cliff, hanging between heartbreak and hope. Tiny stands in the driveway of a life she spent years building, unsure if she is closing a chapter or ending the whole book. T.I. watches from behind the tall glass windows of the mansion, realizing that all the fame, all the music, all the headlines mean nothing when the person you love starts walking away. The papers are still unsigned by Tiny. The pen rests beside them like a silent threat. One signature, and everything ends. No signature, and there is still a chance. Fans online are divided. Some believe Tiny deserves a fresh start and freedom from all the drama, while others think the family just needs healing, not separation. But you, yes, you watching this right now, you know that this